Okay, so I'm going to try to do my best to review this Okegawa Yori samurai armor that I purchased from Iron Mountain Armory. The model that I got was on sale for a Gashira tester, so it was not made to fit my body, but for the most part everything fits really well. So if you fit in the average settings that they talk about, then you'll probably be good, except maybe for the Kote, but I'll get to that shortly. So just to have a close look, the Haidete, which is this thing. This comes off really easily, so you can take it off when you're practicing or when you would go into battle or whatever it is. It just, there's a little hook here, and on the back here there's like a little slip that it slips into. You just slide that right on there. There's the Kabuto, which I'll take this all off and show it to you individually. The Mempo, and I forgot what the nose part is called, but the Mempo for the mask. This is real yak hair, by the way, for the Gashira, or Taicho. And you have the Sode here. The Do. The arms are, the whole thing is the Kote. And this is the Ode Gota and the Teko. Katana here. And these are Kusaguri, I think. Kusaguri. And then you have your Haidete, which is the thigh guards, the Suneate for the legs. So basically this is what it looks like sitting on the Yoroi Bitsu, which is the box. I'll also review that. So now I will individually show you each piece, take it apart, and show you what's going on. So here are all the armor pieces taken apart, as far as you can break them down. I'm basically going to do the quick review on the Do first, just to get it out of the way so I can review everything else in a more easy fashion. Okay, so this is the Do. You have the primary plates on the front and the back, and then you have the Kusazuri. It looks like it's how it's pronounced, Kusazuri, which are all of these right here. You have 6 of these, 3 in the front. These kind of go on the side a little bit, and 3 on the back. This one hangs down, and these are on the sides also. And it is connected on this side by a pin. There's a pin here which goes through little holes that kind of make it open and close. And on the other side it's open, except you have strings to tie it. To close the armor you have these little things which you just kind of clip into each other. You pull one and hook it in, and the same on the other side. You just kind of hook them in, and that allows the straps to close. Again, this is the Gashira version, so it came with these pads, which make it a lot more comfortable. If you get the I think it's the Kachi class, or the lowest quality class, you do not get any of this side stuff. I think there's a little bit on the inside, just on the very inside of these straps, but that's it. And for my armor, I got really lucky, and on the inside of each of these patterns here are metal discs, basically, which adds more protection. I bought a sale item that was for the Gashira testing, so I think I got lucky and was upgraded for this part for the Taicho. So this is more armor inside. On the normal Gashira, you do not get metal plates on the inside of here, I believe. So every red thing you see here has more armor inside. So that was really awesome. I'm very happy about that, because it adds more armor, which is great. For the fittings and stuff, you have all this nice lacing, looks really great. For this version, I don't think it really matters in terms of defense, because these are all riveted together, so it doesn't do anything, but it looks nice. And for the gashira, you also get these nice brass fittings, which also I don't think it does anything for armor, but it looks really nice and I like it. And this is also true about all this lacing in here. I don't think it has a function, but it does make it look nice. For the kuzazuri, you have all these nice metal plates that look like they're kind of tied together, but they're just individually large pieces that are tied together, you know, this way. I don't know exactly what this is all called, but it looks cool. And I must say, even though it seems kind of thin, this stuff will definitely protect you. I stabbed at these things a bunch with one of my swords, and it will not get through, guaranteed. I'll link testing for where the guys that made this actually test this stuff against real swords and stuff, and it works really well. For the back, it's kind of dark back here, but you have this thing, the Sode, have straps that you can tie from here to here, and it kind of holds them together. I took mine off because I don't need them, but it looks nice. This thing's a little loose. I don't think it matters. Makes no difference. I don't expect to get hit back there, so it doesn't really matter. It looks really nice though. This whole area is pretty cool. Here's some more of the padding on the back. It goes all the way through. It's really nice. Now to take a look at the inside of the do. You have this leather. It seems to have been glued in there by something. I remember someone said it might be horse glue or something. It's really on there. It's not going to come out unless you like grab a corner and like try to rip it off. I did notice that some of the edges are a little loose. Like I could grab it and pull it off. I don't imagine that will be a problem because I'm not going to grab it and pull it. But there is that. That's not an issue, I don't think. For the most part, it's on there really well. Like, it's not going to come off unless you purposely pull it off. The padding, it's nice and cushy. It makes the armor much more comfortable. So if I were you, I would highly suggest getting the Gashira or Taicho class, because then you'll get that padding. And with the Taicho, again, you'll get the extra armor on the inside. So that's good. So that was the Do. Next I'll do the Kabuto and Mempo. Okay, so here's the Mempo and Hara. This is the Hara. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's H-A-R-A. This is the nose. So this, on the Gashira class, this comes off and you can reconnect it very easily to the Mempo. This actually fits really well. I have no problems with it. Even wearing glasses, if I put this on before, or if I take my glasses off and then put it on and then put my glasses back on, it fits really well. The real yak hair, again. One thing I did notice is that you can see right there, there's glue on the inside right here. It was kind of overflowing a little bit, and there was actually yak hair that was kind of poking up through here. So I just kind of pulled it off, no issue there. But it was a little weird that there was glue coming through. That was the only issue with this, but it was really, really easy to fix, so not a problem. The Mempo itself is pretty cool. Again, no issue even wearing glasses unless you have those giant glasses, but I have small ones, so not an issue for me. It looks pretty cool. A lot of structural form makes it look kind of intimidating. I'll put this all back together here in a second. I forgot what all this was called. I could look it up, but I'll just not do that. I'll let you do that. This works really well to protect the neck. It has these nice ridge lines here, so if someone stabs at you, it's, you know, I guess it will either get stuck or it'll just keep on skipping up and hit the chin here, which would still protect you. This is all nicely laced all together. This can collapse really easy if you're like transporting it or something. The strap here goes over your ears. Mine was really long, so I kind of just tied it up a little bit extra. So let me put this together real quick and show you. So this is what it looks like with the hara attached to the Mempo. It has these little tiny hooks on both sides. It just pops right through. It's really easy to get on and really easy to take off. So if you're ever having worries about that, it's super easy to do. Again, for the Gashira and Taicho class only, this is connected and cannot be removed on the lower Tachi, I think it's Kachi class actually. So that's the Mempo. It's really great. Okay, so here is the Kabuto. To start, it has these tassel things that are, on mine, are like really long. It's like 4 feet long. It seems way too long to me, but when you're wearing it, I guess you can just kind of pull them behind you and wrap around. So that's a little weird. But the armor bands here, again, I don't remember what they're called, but these are collapsible, so as you can see, that it's really awesome. So you can set it down flat, and when you pick it up, they'll automatically form to your neck. So that's really cool. And here's the Haidete, just the crest, I believe. I think they took this off during fighting. And you have the hook. The inside of the Kabuto is surprisingly nice and actually surprisingly comfortable. It has this this fabric stuff that, so your head isn't actually resting against the metal. It's kind of like it's floating on the fabric instead. So that's really great. The strap thing goes around and connects through these loops and back out. So the Kabuto is really, really awesome. It has these nice brass things. I don't know what they're called, but they're really great. The ears are weird. I don't understand why they're there. I don't know the history behind them, but I imagine it'd be cool to paint something on it, which you can ask for if you'd like. You can have things painted wherever you want, really. So that is the Kabuto. It's really great. So here are the Haidete, which are the thigh guards. These are really tough. I could probably take an axe and just beat on this and never get through, unless it was like a mace with like a really fine pick point or something. So you have armor that overlaps, so it's nice, and it really can go with your leg. It has these straps all on the back. I'll show you in a minute. But these are pretty cool. They're really nice. This is all 10 or 18 gauge steel, so it's not super thick, but it'll definitely stop a sword or a spear. An arrow might go through if it's really close. It's hard to say. This is all just, I believe it's silk. It's unarmored, it's just fabric, but this is going to be covered by the kusazuri, or it should be, at least, if you're wearing it properly. Straps are really simple. Not too much to say about those, except they work really well. Let me flip this over here. These are the straps that you can put around your leg. Same thing with the Do. You just slip this thing through a rope and they connect. One thing I noticed is the one on the right was a little, it kept on coming undone, so I double looped it. I looped it through twice, so it looks kind of like it's tied a little bit. But it's not a problem, because you can just double do it. So this is just the fabric. It's pretty nice, actually. That's really all there is to say about these. They're really high quality. I'm extremely happy. One thing to mention, I think you do not get these straps if you get the Kachi class. I believe this is for Gashira and Taicho only. I'm not positive about that, though. So definitely inquire if you're going for the lower class to get this, because they are helpful. It's not really a big deal, but it's nice to have. Any little extra that's going to make things fit you better is good. Okay, so here are the Sode, which are the shoulder guards that kind of go over the Kote a little bit. These will protect your shoulders pretty well, especially from the back. They tend to roll back a little bit. I think that's supposed to happen, though. And so, as you can see, the plates are similar to the kusazuri. They're They're like a wave pattern. The lacing is pretty much the same. You have these brass fittings for the Taicho and Gashira class. And for mine, it also came with these tassel things that can connect to the back of the do, which will keep these from falling forward. As you can see, I actually took it off. I just put it back on just for the review. The tassels are pretty nice, but I think they get in the way and they kind of fly around a lot. And I don't really like that. So I took them off. Just like the do, you attach these to the do by clipping them into little slips that these fall into. There's 2 on each one, and they just clip right on their shoulder. It's really easy to put on as long as you put them on before you put the do on. If you're alone, you have to put these on before you put everything on, if that makes sense. So these are also really nice. No blade is going to get through here. These are metal, you know, steel, just like everything else. The back, just more fabric. I don't think you get this on the lower quality, so Gashira and Taicho, you'll definitely get this nice fabric on the back. I'm not completely sure if you do not get it on the lower class, but definitely something to think about. Because it is nice to have, it looks nice, and it won't scratch the inside of your armor, I guess, if that really matters to you. So those are the Sode, also very nice. Next I will do the Kote. Okay, here are the Kote. I have very mixed feelings about Kote, because I've been having trouble with the size of mine. But I'll do the general review first, and I'll tell you what I don't like about them. So this is the teko, which are for the hand guards, and you know, they work really well. I mean, they'll move with your hand. They have these straps that on the inside that go with your fingers. There is a little issue with having your knuckle exposed when wearing them. I might be wearing them wrong though, so that is to be determined. But they have these the chain, the mail, in between, you know, where the wrist is and the hand goes. So this makes for really nice maneuverability. These ropes tie it so it doesn't get loose. You have these the Okegawa Do, which protects you from slashes. Maybe not so much if they came a horizontal or a vertical straight down, but that's probably not going to happen. It's more likely it's going to be across in some way, so these will definitely protect you very well. For the elbow area, you have this nice plate for where the elbow is. Nothing's going to get through that. The chain here is actually really high quality chain. I mean, it is buttered, or butted, so it's not closed or riveted or sealed or any way, so a stab could probably get through it really easily. But from slashes, it'll still hurt your arm, but slashes will not get through this likely. You'd have to get stabbed right in the elbow area. This makes for really easy maneuverability, so your elbows will never get stuck. You have more of these plates up here. These are individually sewn into both the Kote fabric and linked together with more mail. So it's really, really awesome. You have more lacing here. There's a plate underneath here. There's just a bunch of lacing up here. This is where the shoulder is supposed to be. This protects your shoulder. This lacing, I believe, is supposed to tie around your arm, and this one can be used to tie over the neck or something, or tie it to your armor directly. But what you're supposed to do is tie this across your chest, these 2 straps on the inside, which are back here. You tie these to your chest, but I'm finding that the armor slips down really, really easily. So to solve that, I've actually tied these directly to the do and put it all on at the same time. I'll actually show how I do that. And it allows complete free movement. I'll explain that a little bit later when I actually show when I'm putting it on. Here's the inside of the Kote. I believe all of the Kote are the same regardless of class, but there are different styles of Kote available. Like some is there's like large plates here that cover this entire area. Another one's like this. Another one I believe has like small squares or something all the way up. But yeah, this is the general one that you'll usually get. If I could do it over again, I'd get the one that has the larger big plate here. But for the most part, this is really awesome and it works really cool. This inside tie stuff here, you know, ties it, seals it to your arm, so that works really well. And you put your arm down through here, obviously. But again, mine are way too short. If you follow the average specs for, and you don't want to custom order it, well, you should definitely custom order it, because for me, this is way too short. I need another like 2 or 3 inches to make it fit the shoulder properly. So definitely inquire if you want to buy some of these as to proper sizing, because otherwise they'll slide down your arm when you're moving around in them. Unless you tie it directly to your armor, which I'm going to show you how to do, or how I do it, and it works really well even though they're short. Okay, besides possibly getting short kote, there is a major issue with my kote here. So one of the major problems that I've found with my kote are where the strap connects to the kote fabric. This is what it's supposed to look like. You know, or this is how it originally looks like. It goes in between the two fabrics and it's nice and tight in there. But through just some very simple use, probably because mine were too short, so I've been putting a lot of stresses on them, but just from a little bit of use, I mean, I've worn this twice, it's starting to blow out completely. Like you can see here that the inside is completely exposed. I could probably fit my whole hand between the sewing here. It's hard to see in here, sorry. It's just coming apart. And this is for both kote here. This one's really bad. I can put my whole hand in there very easily. I'm gonna have to re-sew that. I suggested to Iron Mountain Armory that they do not do it this way, because I mean, putting the strap in between the two fabrics really makes it easy to tear open. I suggested that they put like a metal ring between all of this and tie the strap into the metal ring or something. So that's something you need to look out for if your kote are a little bit small and you're putting a lot of stress on it. I now do not strap these to my body, so that shouldn't be an issue anymore, but if you are wearing it like that, they might blow out like that. So this is a major issue if you're doing it wrong, like I probably was. But I mean, these tore open immediately. I put them on, I didn't even tie it very tightly, and these started tearing open. They were actually a little loose when I first got them before I even put them on. So that's something you need to look out for on your kote. Everything's really nice about it if it's properly sized for you, and if you don't tie the straps especially tight. So now I will do the Suneate. Okay, so these are the Gashira Suneate. With the Gashira, you get this fabric. I forget what it's called again. You can look it up if you want to. This fabric goes around your leg, and it makes it look nicer, and I guess it makes things more comfortable or something. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it helps or not. I'm not really sure. They actually kind of feel like they get in the way a little bit. It makes it a little bit harder to tie things together, but it is nice, and I like that I have it. I would rather have it than not have it. Then you have the straps that basically just tie around your leg on the calf area, or the ankle area, just above the ankle, and just below the calf. I have absolutely no issue with the Suneate. They're great. The inside for the Gashira, you just have the fabric stuff, but there's also the leather, same as the Do. Same issue with slightly loose on the inside of this stuff, the leather connection. But again, I don't expect anyone to just grab it and start pulling on it, so if you don't do that, you'll probably be fine. These are just as powerful. I would not be worried about getting a strike to the leg. I mean, the blunt force might hurt your leg, but a blade is not going to get through here. And steel works really well. Yeah. So it has these lips that show you which side to wear it on. The lip goes on the outside, so this would be the left one, because this thing is on the outside. That's how you know it's on the right side. So those are the Suneate. Really nice. So now I'll just do a really quick review of the Yoroi Bitsu, which is the armor box. This is the lid. Not really much to it. It's just the top of a box lid. You know, it does have these nice corners, which are rounded. So when you're putting your armor on your box, there's less chance that it's going to be tearing because it is a rounded corner on the top. So that's pretty nice just for a box. The inside has a bunch of the bubble wrap. I'm not going to take it out because it's just an empty box, basically. It has this nice crest here. I have no idea what it says, or if it's even kanji. I don't know. But the box has this nice little ridge, so the lid can't slide off or anything. It actually fits in there really snugly, and it won't come off unless you pull the lid directly up. I'll put this on real quick. And this thing is the body thing that holds all your do together. It looks like a small person, really. It's got the legs, the feet, the shoulders, and the face. The Mempo. This all fits together amazingly well, really. You just put the Mempo on here and you put the cords on here properly. And if you do it properly, it sits exactly right. And then you just put the Kabuto on directly on top of that. And you wrap the do around here, and the shoulder straps go on these. Your Haidete just kind of, you tie it around the back of the box and you set them on there. And that's pretty much it for putting it together. But to review this thing, it was kind of difficult to put together. These go at a weird angle, and I actually don't even have these all the way on here because it was so difficult to put the connections together. The painting was kind of rigid, so it was hard to put together. But I did get it together, and now that it's together, I'll probably never take it apart because it's hard to put together and take apart. But you probably won't be needing to take it apart, hopefully. If you're living in one place for a long time, leave it together and it's fine. But in general, this is just wood. It fits together pretty well. And yeah, not much to say about that, except it works really well to hold your armor and put it all in place. And it looks like you have a giant scary guy sitting in your room, which is where I have my armor, just kind of hanging out in the corner of my room. Okay, so I'm going to extremely briefly explain the issues that I have with the Kote. So basically, you do, starting from the left side, you put your left arm in, and you're supposed to do the middle finger through the loop, but because my Kote seemed to slide a lot, I put it in my index finger. So, when wearing the Kote properly, I believe the shoulder part is supposed to come way up here on your shoulder, but mine are too short, so they kind of, when it's properly set so I can move around, they sit just on the edge of my shoulder. So there's that issue. I'll show you how I fix this problem to prevent it from sliding down and from just sitting there slightly. But generally, I guess they say you take the strap in the back and the strap in the front, and you just kind of tie them together. And when you have someone else doing this with you, you can tie it more under the arm, but since you're doing it alone, you have to do it in front of you. So I can move my arm fairly well, but as you can see, you know, it's sliding down. I guess these you can tie, let's see, the lower ones I think you tie under and around your arm to hold it tight right there. I haven't really tried that very much. And also I guess these upper ones, I think you can tie your left and right kote together so these don't slide as well. One thing I've noticed, because I tried tying them together, But the problem, when I did that, I'll see if you can see this, is this this piece of metal, this loop, started to actually pull apart. It blew out. I might have been doing it too tight, but again, the only way to make it from fall down, or to prevent it from falling down, was to tie it tight. And this actually blew out on both Kote. Similar to how it's kind of blowing out on here. So with the armor, I think the only weak point in terms of structural integrity has to do with the Kote. Mine were too short for me, so if you decide to get some yourself, definitely make sure you order the size that will fit your body, or even ask them to increase the shoulder length, because there's a shoulder option. If it were me, I would get another, this much more shoulder, so it actually comes all the way up. So since mine don't fit me, I actually tie mine directly to the do, and I will now show you how I do that to prevent the arm from moving around too much and from being loose and preventing motion. Okay, so I have my do sitting here, and these are the things that attach the Sode, or the shoulder parts. This is also where I attach my Kote to my armor. On the top of the Kote, if you get the right version, you have these straps that you use to tie from one Kote to the other on your body. At least that's what I believe they're for. For me, I don't do that. I tie them directly to my armor, and the way I do that, I actually have only done this once, so it's not in a very good configuration. But each of these are separate from each other. I basically just tied, really simply square knotted them together, so there's a connection piece. And all I do is I loop this over these things right here that attach to the Sode. I don't tie them in, I don't really do anything. I just loop them in. So they're just sitting under these things. I'm going to change this, but this is just what I do now because I just figured out how to connect these arms to here. This is not what I would suggest you do, but for now this is what I do. And of course these will slide off very easily. They'll just come right off. So now what I would do is I would attach my Sode to the shoulder. So basically what I did is I put the Sode and just attach these here. So now this string here simply cannot come off. You would have to tear this off or cut it or untie it to be able to take the Kote off, because the Sode the little nubs are holding this in here. Eventually I'll actually tie the Kote in here, but for now this works. And then what I do is, you have this breast thing right here, I just kind of shove it inside, and same with the back. I pull it in, and I do it with both arms. And then what I do is I tie the back parts together. So the back of the Kote are both tied together. And that prevents this from sliding out. And then as I'm putting on the do, I open it up. Here, hold on a second. Basically, to put it all on, when I have both arms on both sides, I set the do up kind of like this, where it's just open, and I actually turn around and sit into it. And as I'm getting into it, I put my left arm in first as I'm sliding in, and I get into it. And then once I'm inside, I put my right arm, or no, actually, sorry, I put both arms in as I'm sliding into it. And then once both my arms are in, I just close this, clip the things together, and then I'm wearing my do along with my Sode and my Kote all together. And this allows complete free motion. And let me do this real quick and I'll show you how free motion I have. Okay, so now I'm going to try to put on the do with the Kote attached. When you do this, I learned that you gotta push these straps up a little bit, otherwise you're not going to be able to get in, you're going to get stuck. Also, pull your Kote out to the sides so your arms slip through easily, or more easily. I might have mentioned earlier that I tied the back of the Kote, these straps together. I tried this just a minute ago and it did not work very well. It prevents movement. So I would suggest not tying the back of the kote together, because then you can't lift your arm all the way. So I'm going to go ahead and try to put this on here. I basically just sit into it. Yeah, this probably looks a little awkward, and it is a little awkward, really. Oh, that's right. I'm going to go ahead and tie these together just slightly, just so they're not poking outside the dough. Nothing tight, you know, just enough to prevent these from flying outside. All right. So that did not take very long at all, right? You just shove those in there a little bit, and really though, those should not come out again because they're tied inside. And everything is basically where it needs to be already. The things are right on the elbow, you know, around the range at least. Then you would tie these together. I'm not really going to do it right now. Tighten them however you like, as tight as you like. And of course you seal this. One way that I read to do this is you can actually lean up against the wall. So it puts pressure right here when you're doing this alone. So then since you're leaning against the wall backwards, it closes it and you can tie it a lot easier. I'll deal with the straps later once I figure out exactly what I'm doing with them. But I have complete range of motion, which is so key. When I tie the coat together, I can only go up to about here. I can't reach way back here. I mean, going back is easy, but I can't come all the way over here. So tying it to the coat, or tying the coat directly to the dough, makes a huge difference. And I would really suggest doing that for anyone who's having trouble, whose coat may seem like they're too short. And this also negates the blowing out of the fabric. The fabric won't come apart doing this because it's tied up here and not on the weak straps. So, yeah. And again, the Sode, these the brass fittings on the back side here, they would have the red strap that would go into the corresponding loop on the side here, and that holds the Sode back, kind of like that. So that way, the sword slash that comes from this way will just kind of glance off the side. For my final thoughts on the Iron Mountain Armory and their samurai armor, Okegawa Yori, it is fantastic. Buy some. I got really lucky again with the extra armor padding. I mean, I could wear this all day, and I don't think it would matter. I mean, it gets a little hot, but go outside for a little bit and you're fine as long as it's cool out. The average size fits me. I'm 5'10", maybe 5'11", and the dough fits really well. I mean, I'm not really large. I don't have a really large body, but I'm a little tall. The Suneate for the legs, they might be a little short, but actually I'm not really sure. They fit properly. They stay in place. The Suneate fit fairly well. They stay in place pretty well. When I was wearing my hakama, they moved around a lot because I probably tied it wrong. But wearing normal pants or tight-fitting pants, they don't move. Now that the kote are tied directly to my armor, they're perfect. I have no issue with them whatsoever. I don't imagine they'll get out of place very often, if ever. These are always nice. Once you put your belt on, whatever belt you use, this is the crappy belt that came with. It's really fluffy, not meant for holding swords, but it does look, you know, fairly nice. You know, I'll just do a quick crappy 2-knot, and you can, you know, put this however you like. I'm not going to do it, but It holds the kusazuri. I don't know how to pronounce this. Kusazuri. It holds the kusazuri better and prevents them from flopping around quite as much as they normally would. I would suggest ordering a sash, the belt that you can order with it. Kabuto. It's really great. I mean, put your Mempo on, you do a quick little knot here. Oop. Apparently I don't know how to tie a quick little knot, but you do this a couple times. Again, I think mine are way, 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 way too long. So I'll just do something like that. I might actually have somebody put these into the little hole here. I guess I could actually probably do it if I really tried. But this armor is so awesome. If you want to go the cheap version and get the Kachi class, they start at like $1,000 minus shipping. Get one. I mean, I would go for Gashira, but I mean, you should definitely get one. They're really awesome. They feel great. Total movement when you do the proper. They look cool, fun to practice in. And now that I tied my Kote in a better way, I can move. So I would say buy another one. Get Gashira or Taicho, and you'll really enjoy it. You'll be really happy. Make sure that you specify your Kote length. That's the only main problem that I've had with this. Get proper sized Kote. I forgot to mention that later I will be doing a video on putting all the armor on in more detail. Also, I will do a video on how to put the armor on your Yoroi Bitsu and whatever this body looking thing is called more effectively than just slapping it on there. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Comment, question, whatever you want. I will probably get back to you almost immediately. Again, contact Iron Mountain Armory. I'll add all the links and details in the description.